Goedemorgen. Log to Julia Sai. That's from Frank Duroff. Actually, Frank, the inimitable Frank Duroff, is going to help me out today, which is wonderful to have an amazing, quote-unquote, assistant like Frank, who's a stellar photographer in his own right. He'll be presenting later on today, so I urge you to hang around and come by for that. Very honored by your presence, that you would come here for a few minutes and leave the land of gear and technology and come in here and just hang around and play with the whole idea of light. I see some repeat offenders in the audience. You guys are gluttons for punishment, good Lord. And what we're going to do is charge ahead here. We're a little late starting. Apologize for that, but we'll get things going. We're going to talk for the next short period of time about speedlights and using speedlights and moving small, light, and fast with light, translating it into our language, speaking with it, trying to manipulate it, trying to be appropriate with it, all those things that we strive for as photographers. All manner of lights out there, you know, and what we're going to talk about today are the small packages of light, the speed lights. I asked this yesterday, and it was kind of a universal reaction. Who here in the audience has had a call from a client lately that has said to them, we have all the time in the world and we have an unlimited budget? Anybody have one of those lately? I haven't. So the whole watchword for our industry really has grown to be small, light, and fast. And hence the technology that's available to us with small lights is readily available and comes at a very fortuitous time where it enables us to produce fairly sophisticated results in, you know, a manner that is mobile and fairly quick in terms of, you know, grappling with the improvisational details of location. So what we'll do today is we'll just try some samples, okay? I have a wonderful model, Nadine, one of Frank's favorite models. She's going to work with us today. I've done this 3 mornings in a row now. I'm going to turn it over to you guys for like 2 minutes here just to ask you guys a question. We are here under the general heading of speaking about light. But does anybody have anything specific that drove them here? Any specific question? I can't guarantee we can get our heads around much of anything today in the next 30, 35 minutes or so. But does anybody have any specific questions like, yeah, I'd like to investigate this, or if you could do this, this would be valuable, or anything at all that drove them here to this theater this morning, like that's right in the front of their head? I'll do my best to get around it. Yes? Try to explain how much power I put into the flash. Between the flash and the ambient light. $64 question. This lady wins a D4S. So I've committed the sponsors to a lot of cameras so far. Yeah, that's the game we play. I call it the game of ratios. What exists and what you layer over what exists. And they will definitely pursue that today. I mean, I'm in an inspiration-laden room, don't you think? The visual possibilities on this stage are absolutely boundless. No, this sucks. You know, this is terrible. But we'll do our best. We'll kind of make it work. Anybody have any other situations or things that might be interesting to try to tackle? Yes, sir.
I am from Israel, and we have very harsh daylight. Now, I know daylight's not always the ideal thing to take. How do you work around it using the CLS system?
Okay, how do you work around harsh daylight, strong sunlight with the CLS or speedlight system? Okay, we can do that. We can't simulate hard daylight in here, but we'll do our best to maybe investigate a tactic that could be valuable in that instance, and that is called high-speed sync, or using your flashes at extraordinarily high shutter speeds. Anybody familiar with that? Anybody use it on a regular basis? A couple of folks. How many folks here use TTL flash photography on a regular basis? A few of us. How many folks here have been frustrated with TTL flash photography ever in the course of their lives? All right, so like twice the number of people just raised their hands. All right, not fair, but okay. All right, so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to investigate TTL flash photography. Frank, would you kind of keep me up on time? You know, just in terms of I'm just charging ahead here, okay? Just keep me safe on time if you wouldn't mind. All right, so if I have a camera in hand, and I do, all right? Let's start it off, and we'll just say, I walk into a room like this, I have a camera in hand, I have no flash in hand. Can I affect the quality of light in this room with just this? I would submit for your consideration, no. I can't do much at all about the quality of light in this room. I can make an accurate exposure. I could go to several million ISO and make a snap, and it would be some sort of representation, something that might be marginally useful or printable or anything like that. But I would be addressing at that point one issue and one issue only, and that would be the quantity of light. Right? And quantity is entirely apart from the big three of light, which is quality, color, direction. So quantity is just that coalition of f-stop shutter speeds that gives you a theoretically accurate exposure. It has nothing to do with the existing quality of light. I mean, the existing quality of light in here is awful. I mean, everybody in the audience is very attractive, you know, but I have to admit, none of you guys are looking particularly well right now. And that is mostly because you're being addressed by a really noxious quality of light. Everybody's got bad shadows in their eyes, looks like they were out late partying, all that sort of stuff. There's not too much of a prayer that I have of just making an available light exposure that's going to look any good. I mean, I could try. How are you? Okay. All right. All right. Got a little bit of a multiple exposure going on this gentleman over here. That's not bad. I mean, the camera did okay here, right? 2-second exposure. No way I could get that sharp hand holding it given the amount of coffee I've ingested so far this morning. But the camera is a machine. The camera assessed the situation properly, aperture priority, 2-second exposure, f5.6 at ISO 400. So you could make an exposure here. I could lock this down on a tripod, tell these folks to stay really steady, and and proceed that way. But good God Almighty, that would be horrible. You're basically the victim of circumstances at this point. You're not the master of it. When you formalize your foreground, and I oftentimes refer to doing that with speed lights because speed lights are small lights. You're not actually going to light the world with speed lights. You're going to principally be concerned with your foreground, right? I refer to it as formalizing your foreground. When you do that, and you formalize your foreground, and you light your foreground to the effect that you want it to affect, what does that also give you a lever of control over? Your background, right? Say I was going to photograph this gentleman right here, and I go outside, and it's 250 a second at f5.6, and I make a snap at 250 at 5.6. What is also 250 at 5.6? Everything else. The car, the building, the street, the house across the block, whatever it is, 250 at 5.6. If I bring a flash to bear on him and I light him to 250 at f8, what have I done? I've squashed the background a bit, right? So I've sent a very powerful message to someone I'll never meet who is the viewer of my photograph that this guy here, this gentleman, is the star of the show. The background is just context. It's a way of speaking to someone you're never, ever going to talk to. Anybody ever been over to their neighbor's house for an evening where they're determined to show you every image they shot on their vacation? And it's painful, it's awful, and the only way you can get through the evening is just pound wine like crazy, and get yourself as inebriated as possible so it's not that bad. But they're right there at your shoulder and they're pointing to things in their picture, right? Look, see, isn't that cool? Look, over there, we saw that. And you're like, the picture's not communicating that to you. I've been cannon fodder for the National Geographic for 27 years. I'm acutely aware that most of the people who see my pictures I'm never going to meet. The picture has to sit there, ink on paper, and speak to that person and tell them the story that I was experiencing. I'm not going to be there to go, this is what I was thinking. The picture has to do that, and the way we use light is the best way of translating what we were thinking and experiencing in the field. So I've already determined that we haven't got a lot of usable light in here. So I'm going to X out the available light. I'm going to do this. 250 at 5.6. I've stolen their souls. Okay? Black frame. This, to me, is a promising start, because what does it represent? Control. It means the chip is not going to see anything at all unless I light it. So if I do this, if I put a flash on the camera and I go like this, and sorry guys, 3 happy folks in the front row there, just They're ecstatic to be here to examine, and they have been embraced by the miracle of light. Oh my God. Okay, maybe I'll go over here. No, no, you guys did great work. It's okay. Here, let's see. So, okay, there we go. There's another set of folks there. Okay, cool. All right. So, is anybody excited about this picture? No, the picture sucks. The picture sucks. No offense, guys. Yeah, I mean, I didn't do a very good job. I used flash on camera. But the exciting thing to me is that I didn't have to do anything. Anybody pick up on that? Right? It used to be an arduous process, flash photography. I used to be like this, you know, with a handheld light meter. If I was working by myself, going like this or something, I'd have to do long division. I'd have to do all sorts of shenanigans to determine an accurate flash exposure. Now I can just look and go like this. And I'm not even looking through the camera. And, you know, the camera's focusing for me. The flash and the camera are having a conversation and determining a level of exposure. I needn't put in that kind of hard work to determine this. I can concentrate on other stuff, like what's about to happen next, or maybe the nature of the photograph that I'm ultimately driving towards. Is anybody, like, are you more excited about that now? Yeah, it's fantastic. It's just, would anybody like a 30-second discussion of how TTL actually works? I asked this the other day, and everybody looked at me and said, no. No, I'm just not interested. Are you conscious of two flashes there? There's two flashes that are occurring. It's hard to pick up on 250 at 250. Sorry. Nice. Good job. Way to go, sir. All right. Thank you. You're a savior, man. Okay. If I go to 1 second, two flashes. Are they both exposure-making flashes? No, the first one is a pre-flash. It's an information-gathering device. It gives the camera's brain something to chew on. Lets it, and in a remote flash photography sense, it becomes a communicator. So let's investigate that. Let's jump ahead and get into you know, a couple of things here. Nadine, how are you? You've been very patient while I've rattled along here. Okay, so let's do this. Right there. Perfect, just like that. Stay just like that. Wonderful. Okay. All right. So, predictable, right? Hard, straight flash. Flash, I went vertical, so the flash is slightly camera left, so the shadow is slightly camera right. Light is very logical. Now, this is not a particular, Nadine can pull this off, but it's not a particularly good picture. How could I instantly make this better, assuming this is all I have in my hands? I can't even take the flash off the camera. How could I make this better? That's not going to happen, right? Not going to bounce. I've got that white wall. What if I reversed her? Let's do a quick experiment in size of light source. Come this way, sweet, and come closer. There you go. All right, love the hat. Fantastic. You're looking great. Okay, cool. So straight flash, okay. Really, really hard sort of spectral light. All I do is kind of turn it around this way. And it's much softer and more forgiving, right? Just automatically that happens. What just happened there? I altered the size of source. Think of the sun, small spectral light, 1 billion miles away, very hard shadows, drop clouds over the sun, all the shadows soften. I just did the same thing here. I took the light source and I enlarged it. Now, we can't always count on a white wall or a bounceable surface, so what do? You take light shapers with you. So let's investigate a couple of small sort of simple light shapers, and we'll just go to town that way, okay? Things that you can stuff in your camera bag, things that are light, cheap, and fast. Okay, all right, Nadine, let's do this. The only light source in this room that's worth a damn is these kind of interrogation lights up here. So let me work against them and put Nadine here. Okay, so let's get a baseline. Let's just do flash on camera, 250 at 5.6. Nadine, you look wonderful, fantastic. Okay, so there's a straight flash picture with some of the lights in the background, 250 at 5.6, everybody is silhouette. If I wanted to get more detail into the background, what do I do at this point? Bleed in some light with shutter speed, right? Think of shutter speed as a set of level-lower blinds. You're just kind of cranking the shutter speed open, 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 and you're admitting some ambient or background light. So if I take this and slam it down to, I don't know, what do you think? What would get me more background? Anybody volunteer a shutter speed? Which? 1/60th? That's still kind of steep. Try that. Getting a little bit better, a little bit more, okay? Let's see if we can really blow it out. Let's go to like, I don't know, 1/6 of a second. Give that a try. Okay, so now those lights are way, way up there, way, way up. Kind of flaring my lens a little bit. Can we tone them down just a touch? Just a touch? Okay, let's try that again. Perfect. Okay, a little better, a little bit better register. Now I've got the crowd, I've got the lights kind of brought into balance there. I'm still shooting a straight flash at Nadine, which is not the best way to go. Let's try this now. Frank. Frank is a wonderful guy to have on the set with you because he can put the light up very high when you need him to. All right. All right. Okay. We're doing okay. All right, so this is the little speed light box. Let's just do this. Let's see if we can take the light off the orientation of the lens and put it up in here. This has got a couple of baffles in it. For a tiny little kind of stuffable light source, it's actually not a bad quality of light. Let's see what happens. Turn this into a master or a commander. Now this will flash. Does everybody know it's not making the exposure for me? Everybody aware of that? It's just communicating to that light. We're not doing any sort of fill flash on camera here. We're just kind of take this guy and pop a light at her. Chin up just a little bit, sweet. That's nice, good look. Okay. And that's a much nicer quality of light, kind of instantly. Done TTL without, any heavy lifting. I'm not really exerting myself to kind of figure this out right now. I'm letting the camera kind of drive the train a little bit and talk to that light. So that's kind of fun to be able to do that. Now, let's see if we can do, let's skinny down the shutter speed just a little bit. Let's go back down to, I don't know, like 1/30th of a second. And I'm going to ask a friend of mine, Anton, where are you, to come up and hold this board. I said this the other day, isn't small flash great? You can carry them in a camera bag, but you just need like 4 or 5 people to go with you everywhere, All right, sweet, right at me. Great eyes, fantastic, that's great. And that's a pretty nice quality of light out of a little kind of, piece of crap kind of light shaper that you can stuff in your bag and collapse and carry around with you. That's not a bad little light, little skip off a board. Now let's do an experiment. I'm kind of messing around with, let's leave it here for just 1 second. I need somebody else. Seriously, I could put these on stands, but I'm trying to save some time. So let's do this. Let's do this as a remote light, as a group B light, okay? Who back there can catch? Can you catch, sir? Here you go. There you go. All right. So can you stand, yeah, right about there. That's good. See if you can scoot yourself over so you're center. Are you a Nikon user? No? What system do you use? Sony? Canon. Canon, okay. Do you know how to work one of the, could you give it back? No, yeah, just don't try to, don't put your thumb over that, okay? All right, all right, promise? Good, we all right? We're all right? Okay, all right, good. All right, so I've got a small light source behind. That light source has a gel in it. Let's see what happens here. Now, I might not get a signal to it. And I didn't. Okay, so there's a problem, right? I've got a fill board, I've got a human being in front of me. It's not, communicating. But let me show you a quick strategy if you're working line of sight. Like I go radio all the time. I do manual stuff, I do TTL stuff. I'm a very practical photographer. I've been doing this 35 years. I can't afford to be dogmatic about anything because I've had the shit kicked out of me for 35 years on assignment, and I've become very improvisational. I do whatever I need to get a job done. So one thing I could do here is I could take my commander off a line of sight just by a cord. and I can probably sneak a signal to that light behind her. Let's give that a try. Frank, can you do double duty here? Awesome. All right, so let's do this. Set that light up properly. All right, here we go, Frank. You all right? Hang in there, big guy. All right. Here we go, Nadine. Fantastic. Great. Okay, so now I got a little bit of blue going on. I have it kind of zoomed, right? I have it zoomed to 200 millimeters. So it's kind of concentrating on her. Let me put that gentleman back a little further and zoom the light wide. I mean, everybody knows you have these abilities within the context of the units to take it and zoom it, move it around a little bit. Let's go wide with it and see if I can get a different effect. Now, sir, could you go stand right back by that truss there? Sorry to be a pain in the neck.
Trying to get a better view?
No, 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 that's all right. You're totally welcome. You're totally welcome. All right. So now I zoom that light out wide, and it's kind of running in the background there. It's TTL 00. So now I'm getting kind of a radiant light over the audience, right? Instead of the tight light just on her. Now, if I send it a signal to go manual 1/1, which is the most power I can get out of it, let's see what happens there. And we'll kind of blow the background up a little bit. Give this a try. Here we go. Cool. Way to go, Nadine. You look fantastic. So now I've got a lot of light radiating in the background there. And it's a fixed light now. It's a manual. I've sent it a signal to be manual. The system does not care that the front light is TTL and my background light is manual. So let me do this. Let me mess around a little bit more. Just go back down here. Whoop. Try this. Blow this out just a little bit more. Now the blue should get a lot more washy because I'm bleeding in available light. Now, what I want you to do is look right at me, and I want you to, all right, ready? Okay, ready, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what I do there, I just kind of move the camera during the exposure. Now, that's the beauty of speed lights or any sort of flash. It flashes fast. It doesn't care what you're shuttering. Say Nadine was an international film star. Just go diva on me. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. I'm really sorry that you know, I'm all sorts of jiggly because I'm nervous, but my picture's sharp because of flash duration. So if you're like really weirded out by somebody and you're like, oh shit, you know, flash can sort of help you out, okay? So actually that's not bad. I didn't look through the camera, that's all right. But Nadine's doing a great job here, just doing a great job. How about a round of applause for Nadine? She's fantastic. All right, now let's do this. Okay, so we did kind of a quick thing here. Let me evolve this really quickly into high-speed sync, just to satisfy the gentleman question over here. Now, if I have been shooting in what's known as normal sync, but the camera has a capacity to be able to drive your shutter speed way up into the stratosphere, you know, into like 8,000th of a second. What is the price you pay for doing that? Power of your flash. It's sometimes referred to as auto FP sync, referring to the focal plane shutter, which is traversing the scene in blades. What happens in auto FP or high-speed sync is that the flash pulses through those blades. Hence, a lot of the effective light of the flash gets trapped on the dark side of the shutter. Okay, I'm talking really fast because I haven't got that much time. Stay with me. Here we go. Okay, now if I just go to 8,000th of a second right here, right now, okay, I'm going to go to 8,000th of a second at f5.6. Oh, what just happened? I killed my background, 8,000 at 5.6. That gets rid of bye-bye background. I also killed the power of my flash. So what's a strategy to compensate for that loss of power? Use your flash at full blast, use your flash really close to your subject, and also rack your f-stop ring way, way open. Anybody here know the sunny 16 rule? Are you familiar with that at all? Sunny 16, in a bright sunny day, your ISO becomes your shutter speed at f16. Age-old rule stemming from the days when the camera meters did not work. You know, I grew up with cameras that did not work. I grew up with flashes that were just a level above taking rocks together and banging them to make sparks, okay? I came out of the Neanderthal stages of photography. That's why when I lecture at a college or something like that and some kid has got like a D4S X7T and they're like, this camera's not working, I don't like it. I'm like, you little shit, do you have any idea how hard this used to be? You know, you know? So anyway, we've got all this technology in our hands now, but I have to accommodate the loss of light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to 1.4. All right, here we go. Here we go. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so at 1.4 at 8,000th of a second, I get my flash back. Now, you see what's happened to the background. It's not only way dark, it's also out of focus. I'd rather shoot a bride with an out of focus background than shoot a bride at 250 at f16 out in bright sunlight. So I can do the math with me, all right? If you're in bright sunlight at 250 at 16, what does that become? 511, 1,000 at f8, right? 2,000 at 5.6, 4,000 at f4, 8,000 at 2.8. I'd rather shoot at 8,000 at 2.8 and use this method than shoot at 250 at 16. You know, and have telephone poles and everything coming out of the background. So let's do this. Let me dial in a little background. Let me go back down to, let's call it, I don't know, 1,000th of a second. 1,000 at f1.4. Way to go, Nadine. And now I've got the background under control. The background's out of focus, nicely lit up front, and a little frosting of blue in her hair. And Frank? You're doing so great today. You're not screwing up like you did in the last couple of days. It's awesome, man. Yeah, he can learn. Oh my goodness. It's wonderful. Anyway, so let's do this. Let's get into a bigger light source. Nadine, why don't you come on over here on the white seamless? Could you strip that out, please, for me? Anton, thanks very much, man. No, let's bail on that. Actually, let's keep it off to the side. We'll keep it shut down. All right. So what we just did was a quick thing with a paint pole and a stuffable light shaper. Let's go to something that's a little bit bigger. Now, again, if I just do this and I grab that, yep. Nadine, could you take about 5 steps upstage, please? There you go, cool. Are you gonna set that up for me, man? That's awesome. No, that's fantastic, it's great. I'm gonna go off the set and have a cappuccino, get everything ready for me, okay, and I'll be back later.
Get me one too.
All right. Oh, that's the way that works. Okay, cool. These are Frank's stands. Frank loaned me his stands, which is really nice. So I make the eyeball on the flash. I go to my subject's position. I try not to just make the call from back in here because I could be off just a little bit. So I'm going to crank this up just a tiny bit. So a hard light, right? Camera right. Shadows are going to go camera left. I'm going to speak to that light. I'm going to drain out my other groups here. 0, 0 on this. Fantastic. That looks fantastic, Nadine. Now, it's good information, though. I just screwed up, but it's good information. At least that's what I'll say about it. It's good information. Now, you see what's good information about it? Those lights back there at 250, I'm at, let's see, where am I here? Oh, let me get dialed in here for a second. What do I want in that background? I want blackness back. So let me get back to and dial myself back down into 250 at 5.6, so that if I have 250 at 5.6, I'm just about almost gone because these lights are, even at that point, are bleeding into my exposure. And I don't really want that. So much so that I'm going to take one more f-stop out of this by dialing my ISO back from 400 to 200. So now I've got a hard light. Way to go, Nadine. Fantastic. Oh. Here's one thing you can take away from this session as an incredibly valuable piece of information. Turn the flash on. All right? Turn that sucker on. You'll get better results. Okay, so, all right, predictable, right? I've got a hard shadow going to the background. I've lost control of the set. It's just a raw light that I'm throwing at my model. I've controlled the direction here, but I have not controlled the quality. The quality is still the same as it was emanating from the flash on camera. But let's see if we can interrupt that light flow. Let's take a diffuser, and let's put it right up against the light. Right up in here. Here we go. Nice. Still not very good, right? All right. Why? Well, Frank screwed up. He put the light right up against the diffuser. Oh, I told you to do that. That's right. Let's move the diffuser much closer to Nadine. Okay, all right. It's on. It's on. There we go. Pretty? Okay. Much nicer quality of light. She's a little subdued. Welcome to the world of TTL. Why is her skin tone subdued? Because there's splashing light onto the background. Light has jumped around. I'm not using a softbox, which is a contained control box of light. There's light coming through the diffuser. There's light also jumping around the diffuser. It's splashing onto my background. That white splash is talking to the camera's brain. The camera's brain is saying, oh, there's a big white piece back there. I can subdue the flash exposure. Hence, her skin tone is underexposed. Everybody with me? Okay, so now I'm not worried about it. Huh? Who? Huh. I laugh in the face of danger. Actually, 5 minutes is a lot of time. It's more time than I get for most covers. All right, so let's do this. You can control this to some degree by an incredibly sophisticated, expensive piece of equipment known as 3 pieces of gaffer tape stuffed together. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put this on this side of the light, like that. And Frank is going to come in nice and tight, okay, up in here. Cool, 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 really good. Come a little closer, Frank. Good, nice. We got to go up higher. Nice. I got Frank's shadow in the picture. Nice. Come in here. Good, good, good. Ah. Oh, wait a second, wait a second. Hang on. Let's do this. Come in here. Now, Nadine, you come a little closer. Cool. Better. Okay? So light was still jumping over the top. You got to play with the position of it. But what I did was I flagged the light off of spilling onto the background here. And you see where my exposure on the face came back? Because I haven't got that radiant light on the background. See where when I had the hard light radiating to the background, what was happening? I had shadow, and I lost control of the set. Now, if I wanted to, let's move Nadine just a little more towards me. Let's move this here. Really quick, let's come on up here. I'll tell you what, Frank, instead of going like that, go vertical with it. Come in underneath like that. Cool, right in there. Good, all right. Beautiful. Ooh. Nadine's looming towards me now. Okay, that's actually not so bad. Take a half a step back, getting a little bit of distortion. Cool, good, good, good. Here we go, Frank. Good, nice, nice. Okay, so now, just with that stupid little flash there, I've got a fairly nice portrait light. I've got control of the background, so let me do this. Put this remote light here. Say the art director wants the background lit. So I'm moving really quick. I got no time. Background lights wants the art director wants the background lit. So now I got the background lit, okay? So if I want to make it white, I can send it a signal to go probably, let's try, I don't know, +3. Why do you think I'm throwing a light on a white background? Why do you think it's not white? Because the camera loves gray. Okay? I view the histogram. Remember where we used to think of the world? If you sailed, the world was flat. If you sailed too close to the edge, you fell off. Right? That's what the camera views the histogram as. If it gets too close to the edge, there's terror, there's fear. The camera likes the middle. Okay? It likes that big fat gray thing in the middle. So it's radiating off that white and telling the camera to dumb it down to gray. So I'm going to have to overexpose that background. Nice. And now I've got a white, okay, at +3. And I think that's probably all we have time for. Are we all right? All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.